Today is the United Nations International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Approximately 15% of the world's population live with some form of disability.
And nationally, the unemployment rate for persons with disabilities is 26% compared to 6% of persons without disabilities.
When we see people in a different light, when we see them in the possibilities of what they're able to accomplish, they accomplish great things.
The talents of people like Stephen Hawking, John Hockenberry, the Honorable David Onley, or even a president like FDR.
Workers with disabilities maintain their jobs longer, they stay in their jobs, and there is less time off.
Lose sight, not vision. This was my light bulb moment. This was my anthem. Still is.
What a wonderful way to really set the pace here in Durham Region. I think we have champions.
I don't care if you washed dishes before, I can bring in here, you can run a machine tomorrow.
I can teach you anything you need to know. What we do day in and day out isn't rocket science, it's practice getting better. We'll reteach you until you know what you're doing.
We always try to match the candidate's skill set to the skill sets needed to complete the tasks.
We were able to construct a workload for him that fit what he could do and how he could work for us, so it was really ideal.
Oh, it's been great. It's, everybody should do this.
We share cost-effective measures in working with our agency that will save the company time and money by utilizing our services.
We have a device loaner program where if, let's for example say there was a receptionist that has mild to moderate hearing loss.
I guess I would relate to my employees and say that we're all vulnerable through our lives, and that there would be a particular time maybe that any employee may need accommodation, any of us.
So as you all know, today is the United Nations International Day of Persons with Disabilities, so that's why we picked today for our conference. Over 1 billion people, or approximately 15% of the world's population, live with some form of disability. Around the world, persons with disabilities face physical, social, economic, and attitudinal barriers that exclude them from participating fully and effectively as equal members of society. The United Nations theme this year is to break barriers and open doors, to realize an inclusive society and development of all. For 20 years, the Durham Region Employment Network, otherwise known as DREN, has been working towards a community where employment is accessible to all.
A leader is the opportunity to invest into one's life, nothing else. That's what a leader is. It's not prestige, it's not power, it's not position, it's not a name, it's nothing else. If we look upon ourselves, and I look upon myself as a leader, it is my opportunity today to invest into your life unconditionally. Why? Because of the reason that leaders want to be able to see that if I invest into your life today, that means that you have the opportunity to invest into somebody else's life tomorrow. And how do we tell our story about the opportunity about individuals that are facing a mental health issue or an addiction issue or barriers in our community? We do it one person, one story, one opportunity at a time. There's no fast way of doing this.
My name is Lisa Yassine, and I'm with Northern Lights Canada. Northern Lights, we have a vocational rehabilitation division. My presentation this morning, it focuses on employer experiences and a little bit on workplace accommodations. Examples of typical workplace accommodations are flexible schedules, perhaps a quiet workplace, alternative communication methods, communication aids, and perhaps a computer adaptation such as a screen magnifier. Most accommodations cost less than $500. And that's one of the benefits of working with a service provider. We often know where that funding is and how to help an employer access that funding or help the individual. As an employer, You should accept requests for accommodation from employees in good faith. When we call an employer, we need that one guy and we need that one moment for this individual, because it's probably taken a lot for that individual to get to that point. Research shows that the faster somebody returns to work after an injury, or the faster that we can connect an individual who's come to us to the labor market, the faster that they are able to assume the role of a worker.
So what we've got is we've got a panel right now of some experts here, employers and employees. We're going to have a discussion just based upon some of our themes that we've spoken about. Lisa brought up a lot of great points.
Mary Sutherland, I'm the Vice Chair of the Accessibility Advisory Committee for the Region of Durham.
Good morning, I'm Teresa Hill, and I own a company called Farmies.
Hi everyone, I'm Darren Cron. I'm principal of the Whitby campus at Durham College, and I'm the dean responsible for the skilled trades, apprenticeship, renewable technology.
Good morning, my name is Gary Pine. I guess I'm an employee rep here, but I actually work at the Ability Center.
Hello, my name is Herb. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey,
Sorry, wrong meeting. My name is Herb Cat. I'm with the Brain Injury Associate in Durham Region because I have a brain injury, as you can tell.
I'm Mark Dahl. I'm an athletic director over Optimal Health Studios and also travel with Hockey Hall of Fame.
I'm Ray Smith, a job seeker. I used to work for the Workplace Safety Insurance Board, Sun Life Financial, and I do a lot of the work nationally for CUPE, Canadian Union of Public Employees for Disability Rights, and my resumes are all here. I'm going to talk.
My name is Arnold Halbert. I'm currently unemployed. I've been in senior management, hiring and hopefully always helping bring on new staff that requires either assistance or otherwise. When people don't have a visible disability, it's two things. One, the individual is frightened to admit it, and I know that from personal experience. And two, the people that they work with don't know how to relate to it in management either.
We had the fortune last year of having a gentleman work with us, a guy named Drew Riley, who was a plumber who had been in an industrial accident and could no longer act as a plumber. So with Drew, there was never any fear at all about him stepping into the workplace. He was still seen in the eyes of his colleagues in that area as a plumber. Whether he could actively be a plumber on the tools, as they call it, any longer. So we didn't experience that sense of fear from the people he worked with.
As far as the fear goes, I don't think, that being a human condition, I don't think you can completely eradicate it. And I think the best you can hope for is that everyone, both the employee as well as the employer, gets comfortable with being uncomfortable. I have something very visible, very much in your face, and I have to make sure that this becomes invisible, so that what you see is me.
Like, one of the things that should be included in every business course should be the issues around disabilities.
Some people will say, coworkers will say, well, why is this person getting this other treatment? So what do you say?
I've been an employer for many years. And in that situation, I would say to my staff, frankly, it's none of your business. This is the way it has to be right now for this person to help them. And, if you need help, I'll help you too. So, go back to work.
How do you feel about disclosing a disability to the employer?
But when it comes to the initial telephone interview or the initial inquiry into the job position, that is not the time to sort of lay all the cards out on the table.
But now I'm going to have my health and safety hat on. Let's say you go into an interview, you have epilepsy. Well, you don't have to disclose, right? I agree with that. But let's say you're working and then you have a seizure. I think someone should know, because they're liable for your health and safety. If you don't disclose, you may be dead. So you've got to think about your health and safety as well. Maybe you don't have to tell the world, or just maybe you have to disclose it maybe to a nurse. You can be discreet as well.
I always take my time. I take the employer, who I am.
Right.
Okay, when you talk to me, you look at me. talk to me behind me, I'm not gonna hear you.
Right.
You know what, for example, the owner at Otimo, I had a hard time hearing the phone. He goes, what can we do? I said, well, we need a louder phone.
I've spent my entire career working in this field, and yet sat down with the Asperger's Advisory Group just a couple of weeks ago, and I was blown away by what they were talking about, what their needs are. And sometimes that's all it takes, is to say, tell me what you need from me, right?
CCRW, the Canadian Council on Rehabilitation and Work, has been around for 34 plus years. And what do? They're a national not-for-profit organization, and their whole meaning behind what they do is helping people with disabilities find meaningful employment. The Ontario Workplace Inclusion Program offers a variety of assessments that can be done to help you determine what accommodations a job seeker or a new employee may need. A person with disability cannot be denied an interview, refused hiring, or firing due to his or her disability, as long as the disability does not affect performance. And some measures of due diligence on behalf of the employer have been implemented.
Good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Gary Pine. I'd like to welcome you to the Ability Center, the only place of its kind in the world, a charitable organization that delivers enriching sports, fitness, arts, research and education, and life skills opportunities for all people of all ages and abilities. Fortunately, it's located right here in our community, and I'm happy to say, coincidentally, I work here. From a career standpoint, my experience is almost 20 years in operations management, a few years as a general manager, and more recently as a business owner. What I was hoping were cataracts, and I had put off visiting the eye doctor for some time, was actually a rare form of retinitis pigmentosa, which is incurable. This eye disease had progressed significantly enough that in June of 2011, I was left with approximately 13% vision in both eyes. This was obviously devastating to both my family and I. Every thought and sentence started with "I can't" and ended with "I can't." When I needed a kick in the butt the most, my wife did so. She shared with me what ironically is a Helen Keller quote, "Lose sight, not vision." This was my light bulb moment. This was my anthem. Still is. I wanted to set a physically punishing event to complete. So last summer I participated in and completed the 140-kilometer Cycle for Sight event from Toronto to Collingwood. I mountaineered up Mount Zion to Angel's Landing. And I wanted to spend more time with my kids. Quality time. Accomplishing these goals gave me the certainty I could return to meaningful work.
One thing I wanted to comment on that Gary focused on is about when he said, I can't. We hear that a lot in the office because the client is coming in, they're struggling. They've had many challenges. And when we sit down with the client, especially when I do the job development, it's I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't do this. I put the biggest smile on my face and I lean across the desk and I said, tell me what you can do. But we start with the belief that anyone can work.
1 in 4 Canadians have some form of hearing loss, yet only 1 in 10 will actually identify as having hearing loss. So what does the Canadian Hearing Society program do? We help employers and job seekers that are deaf and hard of hearing. We match them up. We help make those connections. We can help coordinate and provide those supports. We have a device loaner program